Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasayang papawid 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo. Sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
You caught me there. I was dancing along this to the theme Anyway, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat at maligayang Huwebes. Bad news nga lang, wala si Sonny nga ngayon. I'm so sorry he can't join us nga today. I'm sure he'll be able to join us next week. So tonight, ako po at saka of course Paula, our hardworking director, and my trusty companion Watson tonight. So we will try and keep you informed and of course entertained. So again, happy Thursday, and January na, it's astonishing. January 2023, only the second Thursday of January nga ngayon. Hopefully, mga New Year's resolution nyo is still intact, no? And unlike me, ako ang New Year's resolution ko is to eat no later than 7 o'clock in the evening, no? If I miss it, then hindi ako kakain. So I had something already before nga today, of course na 7:30 na nga tayo ngayon, so I've only been doing it for 1st of January. Tapos nga ngayon lang tayo, 10th of January. I actually feel a little bit better for it, no? Na hindi ganong late ang pagkain ko. I don't know if you feel that way. So let me know, no? And of course, ano mang New Year's resolutions nyo? I'd be very interested. I must admit, last year I had various New Year's resolutions, including at least being able to play at least one song on the piano. Completely failed at it, unfortunately. But okay, I will try. So I'm aiming lower this year. So my New Year's resolution is kakain nga. Ang pagkain ko in the evening, I will not eat after 7 o'clock. No. And so they say that it's better now for your system so that you can digest your food. Anyway, so the bar is much lower this year. So I'm hoping that at least I can carry that through. So tell me about your New Year's resolutions. Anyway, so it's yung nga, sabi ko, unfortunately, no Mr. Laragan today. I miss him already, but I'm sure he'll be able to join us next week. We have a big topic though, and we have a number of mga questions nga ngayon, no? And they're actually, we usually get, of course, very, very good questions. But tonight, we have particularly good, challenging questions, actually, ranging from, fiance to also graduate visa, also care visa, lahat. So it's a whole gambit of topics nga. And saka yung topic po natin ngayon, makikita nyo dyan, thank you Paula for that. So insurmountable obstacles. Na kayo, if you already making an application to the Home Office, or worse, if you've had a refusal, tapos nga meron kayong appeal nga ngayon, this is a phrase, insurmountable obstacles, that would be very familiar, unfortunately, to you. And I'm sure yung solicitor nyo nga would have said it because for me certainly it's one of the unfortunately common phrases that I have to say nga and explain to clients. So ang process po natin ngayon, mag-discussion muna tayo, pag-usapan muna natin nga yung insurmountable obstacles. Tapos pagka natapos na yan, then batian. So wag kayong aalis, no? Keep us company, please. And I'm sure, and definitely babatiin namin kayo. And get it ready. And especially nga yung New Year's resolutions nyo. I'm particularly interested to hear about nga, anything that keeps you healthy. I'm so bad. Ako, frankly, I eat everything, no? So since this week, I have eaten Krispy Kreme donuts. Some lovely clients of mine. You know who you are, no? Brought me a whole box, no? Kapon, no? And so I have been gorging myself on Krispy Kreme donuts. And before that, I had also some cakes, no? Some gato, chocolate gato. So it's not been a very healthy start to the new year, but the only health concern or a healthy approach that I'm making, I'm trying not to eat beyond 7 o'clock. So let me know, no, if you have tips, no, about trying to keep healthy. Also, I need to see about getting in some exercise. I'm just a bit worried now. I'm kind of being a bit lazy I've been a bit lazy. I have been actually, not just a bit, I've been very lazy with keeping fit, keeping healthy. And I can't keep doing that, no? So anyway, 2023 hopefully will be a year when I actually try and get fit. Alam nyo, I'm getting this, or rather, I'm being embarrassed to do this by our very own Mr. LARAGAN, who, as you know, in the last 2 years, no, has been on a health journey, and he looks so much better for it. So anyway, I'm going to try and follow in his footsteps and try and get also a little bit healthier. Tingnan natin. As I say, last year, I think I aimed too high with my New Year resolution. So hopefully this year I will actually achieve it. Anyway, one of my New Year resolutions is, of course, to try and continue with yung ginagawa nga natin ngayon, which is to be together on a Thursday, and hopefully I'm able to impart some information that would be helpful. So I will also try and continue that through 2023. So anyway, without further ado, pag-uusapan po natin ngayon, topic natin, insurmountable obstacles. So kung meron kayong appeal, or you're making an application, o meron kayong application na nga ngayon sa home office, if it's, kung wala nga kayong, kung komplikado ang kaso nyo, sabihin natin wala na nga kayong visa, no? Meron kayong relasyon nga dito, o kaya meron kayong anak nga dito, this is a phrase, and that's going to be very important to you. So it's a very big topic. Now, before, perhaps because it's such a big topic, before we do anything else, let's go for a quick break, no? And then when we're back, tackle na natin to. Huwag kayong aalis, yeah?
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
%100% all natural, tasty, healthy, versatile, 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galettos.
Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasayang papawid 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
You caught me again. I'm grooving or trying to groove it to the song. Anyway, magandang gabi po uli at saka maligayang Huwebes ngayon. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our Migration Corner nga. Unfortunately, yung nga sabi ko kanina, no Mr. Laragan nga ngayon. We miss him, I'm sure, no? But I'm sure he'll be able to join us next week and hopefully nga he's well. So tonight po, of course, we have our trustee, Paula Perez, our director our hardworking director, who will assist and will keep us going. And of course, my trusty companion, Dr. Watson, who's next to me, who's looking quite, well, actually, he's asleep again at the moment. So, mamaya, kung meron kayong marinig, biglang, o baka biglang gumalaw nga itong desk ko, that's him, okay? Anyway, so yun nga, malaking topic po natin ngayon, which is insurmountable obstacles. No? As I've said, kung meron kayong application, sabihin natin wala nga kayong visa dito, meron kayong anak o wala nga kayong anak, one of the things that, one of the phrases that you will be familiar with would be itong insurmountable obstacles. No? So kung komplikado nga ang kaso nyo, and you're looking to make an application, or indeed you've made an application and you need to make representations, o kaya meron kayong appeal, tune in, because insurmountable obstacles as a principle, as a phrase, is one of the more important things na you need to deal with in any appeal, for example, or indeed any application. No? You need to address it. And by that, ibig sabihin, in your statement, pagka papasok na yung statement, or in your grounds of appeal, you need to be able to deal with that. That if it goes to, especially if it goes to appeal, no, the tribunal or the court will want to have a look at your circumstances against the principle of insurmountable obstacles. So I cannot emphasize enough how important the insurmountable obstacles principle is. So, okay, now, what does it mean? No? So, ang gagawin ko to, let me just read to you actually what ang sabi ng batas. Where does it come into insurmountable obstacles and what does it actually say? Now, insurmountable obstacles is contained in ang tawag EX1, so exemption 1 essentially, of the immigration rules. No? Now, hindi naman gaano mahaba. So, let me just read to you that section nga. So, EX1 of the immigration rules. So, sabi dito, for example where the applicant has a genuine and subsisting relationship with a partner who is in the United Kingdom and is a British citizen or settled in the UK, for example, and there are insurmountable obstacles to family life with that partner continuing outside the United Kingdom. So that's what they say. It's yung starting point nila. Now, in the same section, EX2, sabi doon, they define, or the Home Office seeks to define what does insurmountable obstacles mean. So, EX2B, sabi doon, insurmountable obstacles means the very significant difficulties which would be faced by the applicant or their partner in continuing their family life together outside the United Kingdom, which could not be overcome or would entail very serious hardship for the applicant or their partner. Now, it doesn't really say so much, no. So it's on purpose it's quite wide, and as most cases nga, because of course United Kingdom law is based on common law. Cases that come into that are heard by the court nga, and certainly nga the tribunal, give definition to certain things, and yung nga insurmountable obstacles. There are many cases that have dealt with the issue of insurmountable obstacles. Now, it's for me, sa mga kliyente ko, when I'm advising them, I find it's best to actually apply it to the facts, no? So, starting point always sa akin, insurmountable obstacles cannot simply be yung inconvenient. So, sabihin natin, sabi nyo, mainit sa atin sa Pilipinas, no? I mean, that's nowhere near, of course, no? Insurmountable obstacles, yeah? Wala kayong titirhan sa atin, no? But you have the money to pay for, say, rented accommodation. Again, that's not on its own insurmountable obstacles. So there needs to be something more than just it's inconvenient or it's hard. There means very significant difficulties. Yung nga sabi ng EX2, no? Or very serious hardship. And when they say serious significant difficulties and serious hardship, they mean it, no? So kung meron kayong if there's an illness, no, tsaka malala, and things like nga, I mean, diabetes of course can be very serious, but diabetes, depending of course on the level nga, no, it could be that it does not count as on its own as insurmountable obstacles, no? So it needs to be something else. So to my clients, ang sabi ko lagi is, so look, kung meron kayong mga anak dito, no? Especially kung pinanganak nga sila dito, pero bata pa nga sila. Or indeed, meron kayong anak dito, hindi na kayo nagsasama ng nanay o ng tatay, no? Na yung bata na sa kanila. But of course, kung aalis nga kayo dito, ibig sabihin, hindi na kayo magkikita, no? Not, at least not in the same way that you're doing now. Especially nga, kung meron kayong magandang relasyon nga sa bata, no? If you're picking them up, you're helping them with homework, kahit hindi nga kayo nagsasama, that potentially would amount to insurmountable obstacles of pursuing a family life outside the United Kingdom. Because ibig sabihin nga, it means separation from your child. Or sabihin natin, yung asawa nyo, no? Briton nga dito sila pinanganak, no? Hindi sila marunong magtagalog sa atin. That on its own may not amount to insurmountable obstacles, but other things, no? On top of that may together amount to insurmountable obstacles. So for example po, may trabaho sila dito, no? Matagal na sila dun sa trabaho nila. O yung trabaho nila, it's not easily transportable, sabihin natin. So it would be different also if they are they work with computers, no? Their home office may say, you know, the judge, the court may agree that something like that kind of skill set can be transported somewhere, to another country, not just the Philippines, no? O kung nurse sila, no? Or indeed doctor, no? Do we have a huge lack of doctors and nurses nga din sa atin. So they may say, well, actually, no, they can pursue their career, say in the Philippines, because they have that kind of skill set. But so someone like maybe a carpet fitter, no? Actually, I had a case in the past, someone who's a carpet fitter. Yung skill set nga niya, and he'd been a carpet fitter, yung asawa, for something like 40 years. It is the only thing that he's ever known to do, no? And I don't think there's a lot of call for carpet fitters, say, in the Philippines. So one argument namin is, well, his skill set does not means that he won't be able to do what he has been doing throughout his adult life by way of job, no? But of course, kung meron kayong sakit o may sakit yung asawa nyo, especially nga kung malala, no? And they require regular, no, help in the United Kingdom, or regular care, no? Especially if it's something like cancer nga, or anything, quite serious conditions, that may amount to insurmountable obstacles, but not always, actually. That's certainly an experience I've had with some of my clients. Kahit nga malala nga sila, the home office for whatever reason thought that it did not amount to insurmountable obstacles. Okay, in that case, the one I'm thinking about particularly, we won it. Actually, we won it within a few minutes of turning up, because the judge, binasa nga ng judge yung kaso namin, and said to the home office, well, this must be really insurmountable obstacles, to explain what would otherwise amount as insurmountable obstacles, if not this one. So it is important, again, that was because we prepared it not very well. So insurmountable obstacles basically is anything that is so serious, something that would provide you with such significant difficulties that it would mean you're not able to pursue your family life in the United Kingdom. Now, one that is often disputed by the Home Office is kung kasal kayo sa atin, sabihin natin na nasa Pilipinas kayo ngayon dati, tapos meron kayong asawa nga dati sa atin, pumasok nga kayo dito, tapos wala na kayo ng asawa nyo, no? And then you then decide to divorce, say in the United Kingdom, and when you are divorced in the United Kingdom, then you remarry in the UK. Now, of course, there sa atin walang divorce. So there you have a clash of jurisdiction. So although in the United Kingdom, what we would say is, well, no, it's perfectly valid in the United Kingdom, the divorce, because you were habitually resident in the UK. It was granted, and because that was valid in the United Kingdom, it should also be valid. The subsequent marriage should also be valid in the UK. No? Now, that may not be the stance that's taken by the Filipino authorities. Dahil sa atin nga, walang divorce. We have annulment in the Philippines, but not divorce. So what they will probably say is, well, hang on, no? Dito kayo kinasal dati. No? We don't recognize the divorce, and therefore we can't recognize the subsequent marriage. Now, I certainly always put that forward, because it's when it's relevant, as part of my insurmountable obstacles argument. Dahil nga, kung kasal nga kayo dito, pero uuwi kayo sa atin, magkasama nga kayo, pero sa atin nga, your marriage is not recognized, that would be that would mean that your family life, your marriage is not recognized in the Philippines. No? Kung yun po, that may have also additional consequences. So for example, kung sasamahan kayo ng asawa nyo, anong visang bibigay sa kanya? No? So similar to here, of course, kailangan niyang status doon. Kung hindi kayo kasal, then how would you then argue that actually he's a spouse? No? Now, kung meron siyang pera, then it could be that he can pursue the investor category, okay? O kaya the retirement visa. Then you need to be able to show that you're able to support yourself in the Philippines. But kung wala siyang pera, no? And also I think there's an age limit also in relation to that type of immigration, no? Then you may have a problem. So mangyayari nga, temporary visa nga lang siya. Kung temporary visa nga lang siya, then that would mean potentially visit visa nga lang siya sa atin. So ibig sabihin din, like here, no, hindi siya pwede magtrabaho kung visitor visa siya. Tsaka kailangan niyang lumabas din. No? So it's not just that the marriage may not be recognized, which is already serious na nga, but also the other practical consequences of that. So yung nga, kung hindi nga kayo kasal in the eyes of the Filipino authorities, what does that mean? No? Ibig sabihin ba hindi siya makakakuha ng visa na makatira nga sa atin. So we would say, kung yung ganong kaso nyo, yung situation nyo nga, then it's certainly worthwhile putting that forward as part of this argument of insurmountable obstacles. No? So insurmountable obstacles can be anything that is significant. no? And I would also dissuade you from chucking everything in there, all right? So meron mga kliyente sabi, no, ito, I have a, I won't be able to, ang init sa atin, o kaya I won't be able to rent a place, even or wala akong titirhan, even though they have money to do those. I would advise against putting in anything and everything. Dahil gusto nang makita, kailangan niyang pakita, indeed, these insurmountable obstacles. There's no point, if you like, muddying it, but putting everything in. It's a bit like yung mga statements nga. Yung sinasabi ko lagi, pag nag-uusap tayo, there's no point having, say, 20 statements. You need to be circumspect with what with statements, for example, that you're putting forward. Just put in statements that are really going to be helpful. Hindi nyo kailangan 20, 200 statements saying exactly the same thing. So it's the same principle, I would say, with insurmountable obstacles. So choose the strongest points and then, of course, elaborate on those. Yung nga, kung may bata, may sakit, kasal kayo dito, no? The recognition of that potentially, or even age, no? It could be na yung edad nyo, edad ng asawa nyo, may provide, again, insurmountable obstacles. So it's or indeed, it doesn't have to be a child that you're looking after. Kung meron kayong mayroon silang magulang nga dito, no, inaalagaan sila, no, and they're acting, indeed you, no, I have cases like this, as acting as carers effectively. So that could potentially count as insurmountable obstacles. But as usual, especially on an appeal, or indeed when you're making an application, it's for you to show that you prove your case, no? So kapag magpapasok yung application, it's for you to show the Home Office na talaga you have insurmountable obstacles nga. And it's good to make your case even at that point. Yeah? Dahil kung ma-refuse nga, at least masasabi nyo in your appeal, na sinabi niyo, you have already explained to the Home Office na itong kaso nyo hindi nila tinignang maigi. And that's why the preparation, no, for any application, especially kung komplikadong kaso nyo dahil wala na nga kayong visa, must begin at the beginning, no? Which is when you submit your application, starting really with statements nyo, legal representations nyo, any other documents in support. Because especially if you're having to deal with this point of insurmountable obstacles, it's quite a complex point. It's quite a hard issue also, no, to establish. So it's for you though to prove your case, and on appeal, it's also for you to prove your case so that your appeal is successful. Now, so insurmountable obstacles, nga, as I say, is one of those very important issues. That is, I would say, 99.9% is raised on a refusal in where the applications to do nga with relationship. And yung kliyente ko, sabihin natin ay walang visa, no, dati, no? So it is something that you should familiarize yourself with. At saka kung meron kayong abogado na nga ngayon, tapos hindi pa nila sinasabi ito, ini-explain pa yung insurmountable obstacles, have a look at the letter of refusal from the Home Office if you've had a letter of refusal and ask about it. Okay? So sabihin nyo sa kanila, tanungin nyo, yung insurmountable obstacles, unang-una, anong ibig sabihin ba niyan in the context of the application that we have now? At saka anong sasabihin natin? Anong pwede natin sabihin nga sa korte o sa tribunal, no? That would amount to insurmountable obstacles. That way, you can tailor nga your statements, no, in relation to the appeal and any other documents, no, in support of your application to point to this insurmountable obstacles. Pero hindi lang po yung sasabihin ng Home Office if you get a refusal. That's just one of a number of principles usually that they raise, no. But insurmountable obstacles is a big one. Now, also, actually, and this is something that I come across quite a lot, that the Home Office may say, they shouldn't really, but they may say, well, okay, so we don't think unang-una na there are insurmountable obstacles. But you can also, go back to the Philippines. Sabihin natin, kung galing ka sa Pilipinas, and make an application from the Philippines to come back in. Yeah? And that is usually something that catches a lot of people out. Now, that's actually not the right thing to say for the Home Office. Okay. Now, just because something like that can happen does not stop them, does not preclude them from having to look at other issues, including, say, insurmountable obstacles, and yung kaso nyo, your argument in relation to insurmountable obstacles. So, because there's the possibility na pwede nga kayong bumalik sa atin to make an application to come back in to the United Kingdom, does not stop you and should not also stop the Home Office from looking at the factors you're putting forward, the amount of insurmountable obstacles. Now, that is backed up by case law. There's actually a case, and if you have, it's not exactly on the point of spouses. It's actually to do with children, but it's a very good one. So make a note of this, especially kung meron kayong appeal. It's one case is called the Secretary of State for the Home Department against AB Jamaica and Anor, ANOR. It's a Court of Appeal case. It was 2019. That was also approved in a subsequent case. Ang pangalan ng kaso is Runa, RUNA, against Secretary of State for the Home Department. It was a 2020 case, again a Court of Appeal case. So they are precedent cases. Now, in both cases, they're both actually children cases. So basically, the correct approach, the court established to the rule is to answer the specific question asked, where the parties require consideration of a situation, even if it is unlikely to arise, or even if it's likely to arise. So even though ang kaso you can potentially make an application to come back in, that on its own does not stop the Home Office, or should not stop the Home Office from looking at the factors you put forward. Okay, so on its own, just because you can leave the UK, come back in as a spouse, does not and should not, stop you from winning your case. But it is still for you, of course, to show that indeed there are insurmountable obstacles. Now, a few tips nga. Unang-una, insurmountable obstacles, of course, would be dealt with by your solicitor, yung barrister nyo, in their ASA. That's the appeal skeleton argument. Yun, papasok nyo yun to do when you appeal. So it's included in your bundle. There is, in your case, of course, the appellant's bundle. Now, of course, it should also be included, the insurmountable obstacles, dealing with the point of insurmountable obstacles when you make your application. Okay, but it is important that you do. And kung meron kayong mga kaso, if you're relying on the case, make sure you read the case. Don't just accept that they are applicable, and of course apply it to your case. Beware also, tip ko nga din, there will also be many cases that may not be necessarily pro you. Okay? When you come across those cases, distinguish them from your case. Kung meron kang abogado, they should be doing that for you. So of course, not all cases are positive, to your case. If they're negative against you, it doesn't mean that you should simply ignore them. Especially if it's a big case nga, if it's a binding case, because it's a Court of Appeal case, for example, you need, however, to distinguish that. So you will probably say, or you should say, ang kaso ko iba, this case held this, but this can be distinguished from my case dahil ito. And you should say why it is that you think your case is quite different from the negative decision that was made by that judge. So it's a question really, again, of preparation. And insurmountable obstacles is one of those principles that's extremely difficult to prepare for. And it depends really kung anong kaso nyo. So for example, insurmountable obstacles, again, another tip. What I sometimes do, actually, at the moment especially, I often do, is I also go to country reports, no? So kung hindi naman kayo pupunta sa Maynila, no, you will be going to Negros, for example, no, doon lang kayo titira. Now you should check, no, what are the jobs available there. So kung sinasabi na ng home office, well, yung asawa nyo, pwede kayong umalis, no, you go back to Negros and there he can find a job or she can find a job. Now, but what are the jobs there? No? So kung ang probinsya nyo, sabihin natin mainly to do with agriculture, no? May maraming bukid but no big, if you like, agencies nga doon, or indeed fishing, no? Pero nandun nga mga kamag-anak nyo, and that's where you would be required to settle dahil wala nga kayong bahay, doon kayo makikitira, no? Then I would also add, no, the country report in relation to that specific place. So makikita nga nila in relation to that place, there unlikely to be any jobs available for your spouse. Kung meron siyang sakit, no? Now, it could be na there are no hospitals that specialize nga or deal with the condition nga niya. Dahil nasa probinsya, and it would require, say, traveling. And alam ko, at the moment nga, hanggang ngayon sa atin, it's still quite difficult to travel. Dahil because of still, we're still dealing now with COVID. So, also depends really how regular, no, the condition needs to be maintained. At saka magkano, no? A big thing at the moment, which is quite difficult often to establish, is the cost of treatment. So, kung hindi nyo kaya, kung uuwi kayong pareho, hindi nyo kaya, dahil wala din nga siyang pera, hindi siya pwede magtrabaho nga sa atin, kayo, kahit makakuha kang trabaho, hindi naman sapat when you pay your rent, pagkain, bills, no? And then wala matitira for, say, medical payment, especially as hindi nga siya he's not a spouse and would not be entitled to any assistance, for example, medically. So it's important then, no, to show insurmountable obstacles na lagay nyo din doon magkano ba ang treatment. So kung kailangan lagi ng x-ray, no, magkano ba ang x-ray? Kung kailangan lagi ng blood transfusion, no, magkano ba yun? So what's likely to be cost? And do your sums. And again, lagay nyo yun sa statement nyo. Again, to show, no, that they're insurmountable obstacles. So although mahirap po itong insurmountable obstacles, and it's got actually the principle has been, if you like, become harder, no, to get over, to establish, no, in the last, especially in the last 5 years, well, actually in the last 10 years, but certainly in the last 5 years, case law has made it much more difficult to establish insurmountable obstacles, but it's not impossible, no? So do not despair is perhaps what I should say. No, do not despair. It is something that you can address, but you do need to work a bit harder to put forward your case where this principle of insurmountable obstacles will is applicable. But it's not impossible, okay? But it does require preparation. No? Now, as I've said, there are a number of cases. Of course, it's a common law. So there are a number of cases that would apply. So kung gusto nyo tingnan nga yung kasong yun, as I say, was this case, the two main cases, or three really, because two were joined. Secretary for the Home Department against AB Jamaica, and also Anor, which is actually a Nigerian appellant. It was 2019, and then later on yung Runa, which was 2020 case. If you want the citation to look it up, email me, no, and I'll send it to you. Mahaba nga lang, but they're actually very useful cases, especially if they both are actually children cases. If you have an appeal at the moment to do with children cases, those two cases you should look at, or your solicitors, I'm sure, would look at. Yeah. So it's quite a complex area of law, insurmountable obstacles, but it's not impossible to establish and to succeed on. It's cases certainly are won, even where you have this issue of insurmountable obstacles. So it's not impossible, but it is hard, and you must be prepared to work for it. So it's so hopefully that was helpful. Now, Paula, I think marami po tayong questions nga ngayon. I think we have at least half a dozen questions. So I'd like also to be able to deal with those. But I think we mustn't also forget, no? And I've been looking forward to this the whole day. Batian, no? Paula. So do you want to, shall we do that now? Oh, Miss Paner. Of course, Marian Galicia Paner. Hello po, Kuya Sonny and Attorney Lira. At sa lahat, happy Thursday po, and God bless us. God bless, Miss Paner. Unfortunately, no Sonny nga today, but thank you for watching, and your first in queue nga today, no? Next week, paghulaan nga, I'll see about referring to you first. Oh, the wonderful Mr. Fernandez, Oliver Fernandez. Good morning. Of course, good morning, sana sa US. Good morning, Attorney Lira, Kuya Sonny, and Direct Pau. And of course, I love Oliver, dearest Watson and Snooky. Hope everybody's on a good start in this year of 2023. And if not, be assured that you're not on your own. We all have our woes. Tama ka, Oliver, no? Thinking about it, we may have been in a similar spot last year, but although bruised and battered, came out of it brilliantly. Oh, he's so positive. We must not stop working to improve ourselves. Oh no, hindi pa tapos. Paula, can you go back to Oliver's now? We must not stop working to prove ourselves. There are no insurmountable circumstances, only slight delays. I love him. Yeah, here is to an exciting year ahead of us. Natama ka, Oliver. What is your New Year's resolution for 2023? No, let us know. My bar is so low, which is just not to eat after 7 o'clock. But I need to add to that. Actually, it's quite a sad resolution, so I need to add more. Anyway, thank you for that, Oliver, and thank you for tuning in as usual. Gigi Elampro. Hi, Gigi. Good evening, Attorney Lira, sabi niya. And Kuya Sonny, happy Thursday, all viewers. Also, Direct Pau. Of course, Direct Pau. Now, God bless, Gigi. Hope you're well. Ang lamig nga ngayon, I don't know if you felt it today, but I was cold from sometimes ang lamig-lamig, you feel it in your bones. I think I'm getting old. Wala pa akong rayuma, not yet anyway, but it gets so cold. Oh, May Tigbao Vargas. May. Good evening po, Attorney Lira, Direct Pau, and everybody. Happy Thursday, watching from Exeter in Devon. It's such a beautiful place, Devon nga, no, May. You're so lucky, May. Hopefully, hindi gan malamig. Andito, ang lamig-lamig. I was just complaining to one of my colleagues na napakalamig nga ngayon. Apart from my room I keep at Philippine temperature. All my heaters are blazing. No, it's like when people come into my room, it's like a sauna. Si Edgardo Enriquez. A rainy Thursday to Mr. Laragan, Attorney Lira, Direct Pau, and to the viewers. Working from home today in more than, aren't you lucky? Looking forward to lots of learning again today. Thanks. Thank you, Edgardo. Yeah, it's you're lucky. So if you're not had to travel today, ang lamig, no? Oh, amazing evening, Attorney Lira, Kuya Sonny, and to all viewers. Happy New Year, everyone. Ingat po tayo palagi. God bless. I'm assuming this is from Analu Antepuesto. But no doubt Paula will let us know kung galing to kay Analu. So it's been, we have, Paula's just messaged me. We now have actually, galing nga kay Analu, 8 questions nga ngayon, no? So lots and lots of questions. Edgar, Edgar, I miss you. No? Magandang gabi. Oh, heart emoji. To you too, Edgar. Attorney Lira and Sonny, Happy New Year sa inyo. Edgar is one of the most talented men I know. No? So, kamusta? Kamusta, Edgar? Hopefully you well, no? He plays instruments, kumakanta siya. He draws. He's an amazing man. No? Marilu, hi Marilu, Marilu Manguba. Good evening, listening while babysitting. Oh, Marilu, you're so lovely while babysitting. Actually, no, it's I find ako nga I listen to actually to films and also podcasts. No, when I'm doing dog sitting rather than babysitting. Okay, so now because we have so many questions. Umpisa na natin. I think Paula, no? Yeah, let's shall we start? Oh, ito po, no? So, galing po to from LP, no? Hello po, Attorney Lira and Sir Sonny. I would like to ask about traveling. Postgraduate student po ako. Graduate leave to remain. My visa expires on the 21st of July 2023. Pwede ho bang mag-travel sa Philippines for 2 weeks from January 25, 2023 to February 9, 2023? Wala po bang ako magiging problema pabalik dito sa United Kingdom? Okay, LP, great question ire, no? For so many reasons. So unang-una, good news is no, you shouldn't have any problems because may visa ka pa naman. And yung the visa, what's left over should not affect coming back to the UK as long as yung visa mo ay valid pa nga, no? And of course, it would be valid dahil magbibiyahe ka 25 January, babalik ka dito February, matatapos ang visa mo 21st of July 2023. So there's no limit as such to be able to come back into the United Kingdom. You can come back to the United Kingdom even a week before the visa is going to expire. I wouldn't advise it necessarily because you may have some issues with the immigration officer. Baka sabihin nila, hang on. I-extend mo ba? On what basis are you going to extend it? Especially the type of visa that you have, LP. Now, so you should not have an issue being able to come back into the United Kingdom as long as may visa ka pa at saka yung visa mo, it's still extant. By that, I mean the conditions still remain. Now, on that note, and this is why I like this question a lot, graduate visa, no? Now, graduate visa is it's actually a very good visa to get. It happens nga, you can get that kung estudyante ka and then you apply for graduate visa. So a graduate visa, I have a note here now from the Home Office. It gives you permission, no, to stay in the United Kingdom for at least 2 years after successfully completing a course of study in the United Kingdom. But not all students will be entitled to this, yeah? Pero you need to be in the United Kingdom when you apply. So it's not an out-country type application. So sabihin natin, estudyante nga kayo and your studies qualify, you finish your studies and it qualifies you to apply for graduate visa. This is a good visa to have. Now, eligibility. So LP will know this because itong status niya. You can apply for graduate visa if you're in the United Kingdom, yun ang una, of course. Your current visa is a student or tier 4, no, general student visa nga. You studied a UK bachelor's degree, a postgraduate degree, for example, no, and your education providing, eskwela nyo, college nyo nga, no, university nyo, has told the Home Office that you have completed successfully yung course nyo. And usually it would be a 3-year course. Kung makuha nyo nga yun, how long will it be? 2 years po yun. It's a 2-year visa, 3 years if it's PhD. No? From the date that your visa is approved. So matagalan nga yung application nyo, it will start from the date that your visa is approved. So if it takes 6 months to deal with it, it will start, of course, 6 months subsequently, and you get 2 years. Now, if you want to stay longer in the United Kingdom after on a graduate visa. Bad news with graduate visa is you can't extend it just like that, no? But you can change it. You can apply for extension and indeed variation of your leave to remain. For example, under the skilled worker route. No, in the past it was called Tier 2, and before that it was called work permit nga. So potentially you can make an application nga to stay in the UK to work. Kung meron nga kayong pamilya, nandito na din nga sila, sinamahan nga kayo when you were a student, you can also apply to extend their visas. Okay? Pero kung nasa Pilipinas sila sa atin, gusto niyo sang kunin, that's not allowed. So you would apply to dependents who are already in the United Kingdom, who entered the United Kingdom on the basis nga of your student visa nga before. So it's actually a very good visa. So you can work in the UK, hindi nyo kailangan ng permission nga to work for one specific company. You can even be self-employed, no? As a graduate on a graduate visa. You can establish nga a business. You can't get money from the government, so no recourse to public funds. But otherwise, it's quite a wide-ranging type of visa. And of course, you can come in and out of the UK during the time that you have a visa, like LP. So no, have a good time, no, LP. So 25 January. So in a what 2-3 weeks time nga, no. Tapos balik ka dito 9 February. Manood ka din pagka nandoon ka sa Pilipinas and have a good time. No, it's don't worry. It's yung just make sure nasa yung BRP mo, okay, huwag mo kalimutan. But otherwise, no, have a good time. Don't worry about it. And we will see you when you are back. So, sino pong next natin? Okay, galing po to kay sorry. Hello po, Sir Sonny and Attorney Lira. I've been in the UK for over a year now, and we're planning to move to another place in October 2023. It's still in the UK, right? My visa is up for renewal in January 2024. My question is, do we have to be in the same location for 6 months prior to the renewal of the visa? Many thanks. Yes, the quick answer is no, you don't have to be in the same place for 6 months prior to the renewal of your visa. You can move. Now, the only thing to be aware of is kung kailangan mong pakita nga yung visa, if you need to yes, ewan ko, Pilipino ka ba? Anyway, I'll do it in English just in case nga hindi ka Pinoy. So, if you are in the once you arrive in the United Kingdom, you're not bound to one place. But if you need to be able to show, say, cohabitation, no, and you're looking to move, just make sure that you have continuity. By that I mean you have evidence to show you were living together for 5 months, from October 2023 until recently, and then again you moved together in January in January 2024. So you don't need to be living in one property, in the same property rather, for 6 months prior to renewal of the visa. So no, move away, Ayesh. But yung nga, just bear in mind evidence if you need to show cohabitation. So good luck with the move. I hope it is okay. It's quite hard at the moment to find, rental places. So good luck with that. Keep us informed, Ayesh. So, may next question pa ba tayo, Paula? Oh, God. Oh, Gigi. Hello, Gigi, again. Hello, Attorney Lira. Tanong ko po, magwa 1 year na ako na indefinite leave to remain. After years, pwede na ba ako mag-apply ng British citizenship? Pero, hindi pa ako nakakuha ng life in the UK. But backward, how many years ako noon na walang visa? Okay, Gigi. Now, I gather it's this. So, unang-una, good news, indefinite ka na, no? So, nakakuha ng indefinite, mag-iisang taon na. O isang taon na nga, no? Now, hindi ka pa nakakakuha ng life in the UK. At saka dati, you may not have had a visa nga dati, no? So there was a breach of immigration, condition. Now, I'm so pleased you asked this question because this is it's actually quite a complex question, and it catches a lot of people out, and it's a waste of money if they don't then get it because you don't get the money back. So unang-una, the law, so the basic requirements say you need to be able to show that you've been in the United Kingdom a minimum of 5 years. The last 12 months must be indefinite. So in your case, you tick that box, no? So you must have been in the United Kingdom at least nga 5 years, the last 12 months indefinite. Okay? Yun ang una. Kailangan mo din pakita that you have what's called the life in the UK test. And English language, ha? So yung B1, hindi nga lang life in the UK. Most of my clients, ang problema, ako nagka-problema nga sila, is to do with the life in the UK. Ang hirap no? The questions are very confusing, and don't despair if you failed, a good few times. At the moment, it's really not unusual, not at all unusual to fail at least 3 times. Okay. In fact, at the moment, I would say a lot more people are passing the life in the UK test on the 5th go. So don't despair. And frankly, even after 5th go, have a go again. There's no limit naman eh. Yung nga lang, mahal and of course, it gets quite depressing and it's time consuming if you're having to do it again. Pero kailangan mo yun, Gigi, unless you exempt. And the exemption would only be if you are so unwell or there's a medical condition preventing you from taking it, and if you're 65 plus. So those would be exemptions. But in your case, I'm sure that's not applicable nga. So you do need the life in the UK. Now, and this is the great thing about this question, even though you've done the 5 years, you've had 5 years leave to remain in the UK, last 12 months, but it was indefinite. You also have done your life in the UK test, and you've also done your B1 test. Now, kung meron kayong immigration background, so sabihin natin, naging overstayer nga kayo, dati yung nga lang nakakuha yung visa nga dito, that would mean that you usually the Home Office will say that you do not satisfy the character element, the suitability element yet of the naturalization application. Ibig sabihin, usually they want to see 10 years continuous leave to remain na malinis, before they would consider before they would forgive, if you like, the overstaying element of your status in the UK. So kung hindi ka pa 10 taon dito, Gigi, with leave to remain, then ang payo ko, you may want to defer the application until you have been in the UK, yung 10 years clean. If you can't wait or you don't want to wait, it's not a mandatory refusal, but you need to address that, the 5 years, if you overstayed before, it could be that there was a very good reason why that happened. If that's the case, you need to argue that actually they should not hold that against you. So, but hopefully you can, and it sounds like you can. Oh, wag mong kalimutan, Gigi, kailangan mo din pakita that you have absences from the United Kingdom can count against you. So in the last 5 years, you can't have been absent from the United Kingdom or should not be absent from the United Kingdom more than 450 days, last 5 years. And in the last 12 months, okay, you can't have been absent from the UK more than 90 days. Now, at the moment, actually, that's not an issue because of because of COVID. A lot of my clients have actually been have not been able to travel. So hopefully that's helpful to you, Gigi. But let me know, if you decide to make the application and whether you can, because of course you 10 years, let us know. So I think we have a few more questions, Paula. Okay, galing po to kay Cora H. Magandang gabi po, Attorney Lira and Sir Sonny. My husband, who was originally under a dependent visa and currently carrying a UK indefinite leave to remain, yung ibig sabihin ng ILR visa, will go back to the Philippines next week. Oh, okay. Tanong ko lang po, kunin po niyang yung OEC, pabalik dito sa UK. Salamat po, and more power. Cora, now, OEC, the quick answer is no, he should not. In fact, just for you, I went into the into website explaining OEC is the Philippine website. So the overseas, let me just read that to you, no? Sabi dito, the Overseas Employment Certificate, the OEC, is an exit clearance document that overseas Filipino workers, so OFWs, no, including domestic helpers, for example, need to exit the Philippines to work abroad. Besides serving as a record of exiting OFWs and verifying them as legal overseas workers, it allows them to be exempted from paying terminal fee, travel tax at the airport. Now, so OEC is an Overseas Employment Certificate. Now, dahil ang visa, unang-una nga, even if dependent visa nga yung asawa mo pa rin, hindi pa siya indefinite, he would not be required to get the OEC. Dahil nga ang pagpasok nga niya dito, ang status nga niya dito is not to work, but rather to enter the UK as your dependent. Now, more so, dahil indefinite na po siya, indefinite leave to remain nga siya, he's not coming back to the United Kingdom actually to work because he doesn't even need to, no? Dahil indefinite na nga siya dito. So, ang sagot po ay hindi niya kailangan, which is good, no? Indefinite na nga siya. Don't forget, no, Cora, yung pinag-usapan, yung natanong ni Gigi kanina, no? Which is to do with applying for naturalization. If you can, I would do it sooner rather than later. At the moment, no, again, tip po to, no, I hear that there may be changes nga to do with naturalization, and I can't imagine they would be positive changes. I suspect there will be negative changes. So kung pwede na kayong magpasok ng application for naturalization and you want to do it, you know, so that you are dual Filipino and also British nga, ang advice ko, do it, you know. Because it may be that you find that it changes. Unang-una, baka mamahal na naman, tataas na naman ng presyo bayad. At pangalawa, it could be that they add something else that may make it a bit more difficult to make an application. So, kung ako kayo, I would do it if that's something that you're looking at, you know, the naturalization application. So, hopefully that's helpful, Cora, no? Sino pa po, Paula? Sino pang questions natin? Update din please about the Prime Minister's statement overstayers. Prime Minister's statement about overstayers. Galing po to kanino? And I need just a little bit more information. Ang ibig nyo sabihin overstayers dito about the Prime Minister. Galing to kay Sonia Turner. Ano ibig sabihin, Sonia? Overstayers. So it's you need to give me a bit more info. We'll come back to you. So meron pa ba tayong mga questions? Okay, galing po kay IL. Oh, okay. So good evening, Attorney Lira and Sir Sonny. Magtatanong lang po ako about sa fiancé visa requirements. Bala ko po sanang mag-apply. Hope matutulungan nyo kami para ma-prepare ko po. Thank you. Okay. Now, yes, happy to of course, try and point you in the right direction. Now, unang-una po, fiancé application, as many of you will know, is a visa nga, napapasok kayo dito kayo kakasal, tapos pagkakasal na kayo, kailangan yung palitan yung fiancé visa to that of a spouse. Now, most of you would also know na kung fiancé visa lang ang visa nyo dito, unang-una 6 months lang bibigay sa inyo. At saka pangalawa, hindi kayo pwede magtrabaho, okay, dito, until you get your spouse visa. So, kung nandito lang kayo, fiancé visa nga kayo, kinasal na kayo, nagpasok na ng marriage visa, hindi ibig sabihin na pwede na kayo magtrabaho. Kailangan yung intayin yung spouse visa nyo bago kayo makakatrabaho nga dito. So, some people, if it's a choice, no, that they can make, sometimes nga they get married, say, sa Pilipinas, and then make an application from the Philippines directly to apply to the UK as a spouse. Now, the reason I say that ito mga conditions na kailangan mong pakita as a fiancé pretty much mirror, no, the spouse visa application. So, the only difference, of course, is hindi pa nga kayo kasal. So, let me just reel off. And again, for you, no, this is directly from the Home Office website. kailangan yung pakita. So let me just list it for you, no? Now, unang-una nga, your partner, of course, must have settled status in the UK, so British sila or Irish sila, or indeed someone with permanent residency in the United Kingdom and other things. But you can make an application for fiancé visa on that basis, even someone with pre-settled status. So you're both over the age of 18, no? Some countries allow marriage for under 18, hindi naman sa atin, but also dito nga, kailangan over 18. You of course need to have met in person. I've had clients also have said to me, they've met online, and uso na nga, you pen pals now in the olden days. No, she shows my age, pen pals nga. But now, you have dating apps, diba? No, that you've dated, no, via the app. Hindi po yung pwede. You need to have met in person. So yun. Your relationship, of course, must be genuine and subsisting. You intend to marry, no, within 6 months of arrival in the UK. The reason for that is a practical one. Ang visa nyo, 6 months nga lang, no? You intend to live together permanently in the United Kingdom. You will be adequately maintained in the UK without recourse to public funds. Yun. Kailangan pakita ng fiancé mo na ang sweldo nga niya, no, is no less gross, so before tax nga, 18,600 kailangan niya, not a penny less. By the way, the government's thinking actually of potentially, they're looking at that again. So it could be that we face an increase in the minimum income requirement for spouses. So it's a good idea to be doing it now. And of course, kailangan nyo din pakita that there's adequate accommodation. You don't have to own, he doesn't have to own, or she doesn't have to own the property, no? So kung meron ngang may tenancy nga, you're renting, or he's renting nga, o kaya makikita na kayo sa nanay niya o tatay niya nga dito, so hindi ka nga siya magbabayad ng rent, that's fine too, no? But the room must be for your use only, yours and his or her use nga only. So there must be accommodation. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yun. A lot of people go on about 18,600, tapos nakakalimutan nila yung accommodation. Don't make that mistake. And of course, kailangan mo din A1 English language. A1 English language, usually hindi po yung problema. My experience certainly of a lot of Filipinos, hindi nga yung problema. A1 lang kailangan nyo, which is one of the lower qualifications that would be required. Hindi po yung B1. Don't get mixed up with B1. Mas mahirap nga, and that you need for say work visa, or indeed also indefinite leave to remain, or of course the naturalization application, yung B1. Ang kailangan mo is yung A1, no? It's cheaper for one thing, but it is also not so difficult. I'm sure hindi nga yung problema sa'yo. So you are showing pretty much actually what you need to show for spouse visa. And pagka nandito ka na, as I say, you need to marry within the 6 months, tsaka hindi ka pa pwedeng magtrabaho So don't count on that. If you're looking to if you need nga financial support, you can't count on it. Importante nga, so where clients usually fall down is yung income po, yung income. So 18,600 gross income yun ng fiancé mo. So and depends also, the evidence will depend kung he's been working in the UK, so employed nga, or self-employed, or company that he actually owns in the United Kingdom. There are various actually fairly complex requirements, but as a starting point, 18,600. Kung some of my clients actually they don't have income, but they have a lot of savings. That's okay too. But the savings, kung wala kayong income, is 62,500, so pounds. Which you should hold in an account or investment nga that's easily liquidated. So hindi po pwede kung bahay, and it's equity in the property. So there are quite a few things that you would need. So I hope you record if you didn't catch all of that, do a replay and play us back. But make sure nga that you satisfy all those points. And good luck. Keep us informed, no? Okay, Edgardo, Mr. Enriquez. Now, Attorney Lira, my question is about UK tourist visa that's coming from the Philippines. Okay, how to prevent a denied application? I've heard they're quite strict in establishing your connection in Philippines. So, UK tourist visa. Tama ka, Edgardo. Dito, a lot of especially over the Christmas period, I think, no, I've had a lot of inquiries actually about refused, visit visas nga to the United Kingdom. The most common reason for refusal is genuineness, no, of intention. So basically, sabi ng Home Office, hindi sila naniniwala na, pagka nandito na yung tao, that they won't overstay. Dahil either, hindi nga sapat yung pera or there's not enough connections in the United Kingdom. So it's again, my tip, Edgardo, is really prepare it well, no? So may mga tao nagpasok na ng application nga lang, and then some documents. I always, kung gumagawa ng application, I always submit, no, a statement or letters, no. But usually nga statements, there's like the difference is really just formatting. So statement nga, kung kayong applicant, sabihin nyo doon, why are you coming to the UK? No? Saan kayo titira nga pag nandito kayo? So kung wala nga kayong, hindi ka malaking pera nyo, wala kang pera sa atin, dahil lahat ng mga expenses, sasaluhin nga nung kaibigan nyo dito, o nanay nyo dito, kapatid, no? Say so, no? Tsaka importante po din, magbigay din ng statement nga yung sponsor nyo nga dito, o frankly, anyone else, no? Hindi nga lang sponsor. So kung meron kayong pamilya dito, and what's gonna happen is, you're being invited to an event, tapos you may be staying 1 week here, 1 week there, o kaya you're looking to go somewhere else, like Scotland to visit there. Sinong sasalo? Sinong may pera? So by that I mean submit evidence nga na bank statements, no, galing sa sponsor nyo, and statement also as in affidavit from your sponsor to say, okay, nandito nga sila, makikita nila mayroong British passport holder na nga sila, nanditong pamilya, may negosyo sila. So make it very clear that you've thought about this, no? Pero kung akala nga ng Home Office, it's not really this not a genuine application. Na pagka nandito na kayo, likelihood is that you would overstay in the kingdom, then they would refuse the application. And unfortunately, I've come across a lot of disappointed applicants in the last few weeks, mainly because of Christmas period. So don't fall into that trap. Great question. No, great question. Meron pa tayo, Paula? I think we probably have a few more, no? Okay, Anonymous. So, hi, Attorney Lira. I'm an avid watcher of your program, Immigration Corner, through Filipino TV Europe. It's very informative and helpful for those who have immigration problems. You've discussed this Thursday, that must have been a few Thursdays, about the care visa requirements. However, you have not mentioned who is or are qualified to apply for the said visa route. My question is the care visa route available also for those who have overstayed in the UK? Let's say they came to the UK as students, but their permit to stay has already expired. Technically, they have therefore already overstayed. Can they be allowed to apply for this care visa route? If they are allowed, how or what will be the process? Look forward to hearing from you. Okay, this is an excellent question, no? It touches on a number of things. So, unang-una po, itong care route, no? A lot of you will know it will expire soon. I think we have 4 weeks na lang, no? So, in February po, so it was introduced in February 2022. We're now nearly February or January 2023. So, at the moment, they have not said they're going to extend it. It will expire po in February 2023. I can't actually remember the exact date. It could be the 16th of February. So nearly exactly 4 weeks po, no? Now, um, uh, ito. So for one thing, it will expire soon. Mangalawa, and this is a question actually I come across a lot. Dito kayo, sabihin natin, no, overstayer nga, but you are absolutely qualified for care route. Can you apply? Sadly, the answer is they will likely refuse your application. The reason for that is there's actually a specific if, condition nga, no? Under the immigration rules. It's section 9 and I can email that to you, no? Kung gusto mong tingnan nga. So basically, kung meron kang background overstayer ka nga dito, they consider that you would not satisfy what's called the suitability, route, which is because you breach immigration condition. Sabihin natin nasa Pilipinas nga kayo, you breach immigration condition nga before. Now, the rules provide you should not be able to come back to the United Kingdom. Sometimes it depends really kung anong background nyo, but it could be 12 months ban, it could be 2-year ban, it could be 5-year ban, or it can be a 10-year ban, no? So you all kailangan yung pakita that you've actually, if you like, served those periods of ban, and then potentially, you can make an application to come back into the United Kingdom on a care visa or anything else. Problema nga lang doon, certainly my experience is, once you have an immigration background nga dito, unless you're coming in as a spouse, for example, coming in with via route which would provide you with a degree of permanency or later on nga indefinite leave, my experience is nagdududa sila immediately. No? Kung estudyante pagkonsulong pasukan o under the employment, because they even though of course those may lead to indefinite leave to remain, they want to you still need to show that actually you have every intention of leaving the United Kingdom once your visa has concluded, no? So if any immigration background, unfortunately, will go against that. So unfortunately, kung dito nga kayo, wala kayong visa na nga ngayon, the carer route at the moment as things stand, which is still available for 4 weeks na nga lang, 4 weeks na nga lang. It may be that you find, it is the case that they will refuse that an application, which is a great pity. I actually wrote a paper about this because there's a massive shortage, for carers in the United Kingdom, and if they are serious, I do think in filling it once and for all, they should really introduce the a concession. I'm not talking about an amnesty, but a concession for those who have this kind of qualification. So that would be, I think, a very practical, nearly immediate way of filling what is a massive gap for carers in the United Kingdom. There's such a shortage at the moment of a certain skill set that they're desperately trying to entice people back, into the employment market. They're even talking today about those people who have now retired, those who are over 50s. What can they do to incentivize them to come back to the labor market? Yeah, but anyway, it's not yet to be. You never know. No, it may be that it's something that happens. I hope so. Some kind of concession to do with those with this type of skill set. Yeah, but unfortunately, anonymous, kung wala kang visa nga ngayon, it's not a route, regrettably, that's open to you, at least not according to immigration guidance at the moment, or immigration regulations. So yon. And remember ba tayo mga questions? I've been going on. Oh, yeah. May, hi May. I have a question po. Pwede po bang mag-apply ng British naturalization by post? How much po ba ang solicitor's professional fee for British naturalization? May you find that solicitors charge different amounts. The naturalization application, actually that's a great question. Can you do it still by post? Because all applications that certainly my firm have been submitting have been in fact, online. So kung ako ikaw, May, if you can apply online, I would do it online. At the moment, I have certainly it's the bane of my life, the postal service at the moment. Dahil ang bagal because of course there were strikes nga. I don't know when they're going on strike nga again, but there seemed to be a massive backlog. So kung ako ikaw, don't do it by post if you can do it online. In fact, it is a general advice ko sa inyong lahat. If it's if there's a choice, no, by post or online, do it online. Save yourself the grief of having to wait 2 weeks for documents to get there. Oh, by the way, if you are going to do anything, send anything by post, send it by special delivery or at least recorded, but kung ako kayo, do it by special delivery because you have a much better chance of there still be delay. My experience certainly is there's still delay, but you have a much better chance certainly of getting it there at least within a reasonable time. And if you're mga kliyente ko, you know this, if you're my client nga, I'm always saying to them, no, I can post something, no, passport, BRP nga, kung gusto nyo, but I just wouldn't do it kung ako kayo. So faster, frankly, collect it. So don't rely on post. Not if you can help it, May. Sorry to say. Hopefully things get better again, and but it probably won't get better anytime soon. I think we need to allow a few weeks for the postal service to catch up now with the backlog. There you go. Now, any other questions, Paula? Marami pa ba tayo? We've had lots of questions, great questions also. Leslie Hakaban. Thank you so much po, Attorney Lira, for the good news. Happy Thursday. Yun nga, no? No, my pleasure, Leslie. It's I like giving good news. I like giving positive advice nga, no? Sometimes I have to give negative advice also, but so no, thank you, Leslie. Thank you for the questions, no? Meron pa ba tayo? Meron pa ba tayong mga questions, Paula? Miss Giling! Oh, I love Miss Giling. MM Giling, good evening po, ma'am and sir. Yeah, sorry, wala si Sonny nga ngayon, no? Happy Thursday po. Yeah, happy Thursday, Miss Giling. So, yeah, hopefully meron pa mga bumabati sa atin, Paula. If anyone else is saying hello, Gigi, thank you so much, Attorney Lira, and have a lovely evening. Gigi, it's always a pleasure po, madam. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much nga for watching, no? Hopefully nga you are somewhere warm. Edgardo, thanks, Attorney Lira. Very informative and helpful. It's nice to hear your lovely voice. Nakaka-relax. Oh, I love this man. I sometimes close my eyes listening to you. You sound like a DJ from DWRR. I like you more and more, Edgardo. No, I love this man. That's my voice. I try to do the husky voice. So, any other greetings, Paula, or is that it for the moment? You know, actually, alas 9 na. The time has gone so fast, no? So fast. It's astonishing. Look, hindi ko kayo binobola. I always so enjoy, no, being with you on a Thursday, no? Tama ka si Edgar, no? Happy Thursday, no? And it actually is a happy Thursday sa akin. I so look forward to it. And the questions, I mean, your questions are always so brilliant and so varied. So it's always a pleasure po. Now, as usual, no, kung meron kayong mga questions or you have follow-up points nga from the discussion nga today and you want me to email you, no, email me. So, itong email ko, ito, no, contact details namin sa opisina ere. CABATBAT, so if you can show that po lang yung email address natin, no, cabatbat@douglas-simon.com. You can see it at the moment. So, CABATBAT po, yung apelido ko, tapos dash, so, CABATBAT at, ano ba yung ginagawa ko? CABATBAT at douglas-simon.com. Yan po. Yan. Sorry. I was getting myself confused with my own email. So, kabatbat at douglas-simon.com. Yun pong email address ko. Kung mag-email kayo sa akin, huwag niyo kalimutan po, lagay niyo dun sa subject, no? Immigration Corner. because some of the viewers nga natin, actually I was emailing earlier on that, sabi ko, I just found your email nga, pwede ko i-discuss sa immigration broadcast, and thank you very much for agreeing nga, for me to do so. But kung hindi nyo lagay immigration corner, once I open it tapos I-close it, I'll never find it again. So lagay nyo po subject immigration corner. So email me, feel free, cabatbat@douglas-simon.com. So kung gusto nyo din, you want me to send you links, yung pinag-usapan nga natin, just let me know and I'll do that. May telephone number kami, of course, o telephone number po namin, 0203-375-0555 sa opisina. You're welcome to call, but it's probably, frankly, easier to email me. Kung mag-email po kayo sa akin, if you want me to call you back, give me your phone number, okay? And I'll try and call you. Sometimes I take a bit longer to reply, especially at the moment I have so many hearings I'm preparing for. Kung yun po, it could be that I can't deal with it until the following week, the following Thursday. So if you could also say kung okay nga I can deal with it for the immigration on the Thursday, I'm of course happy to also do that. If you don't want your name named, hindi nga din problema. We just a couple of our people nga today, our viewers nga today, we just make a note, either initials o kaya anonymous. Happy to do that also. Anything to assist, of course. So, anyway, it's been as usual a pleasure. We miss, I'm sure, Sonny, and I'm sure he'll be able to join us next week. I hope so, But I've been privileged, though, not to have you all to myself tonight, and it's always a pleasure, And of course, must say always thank you to our brilliant director, Paula Perez, who in the background is creating all the magic that allows me to be with you out tonight. Otherwise, I will not be. I wouldn't even know where to start. So thank you again, Paula. And of course, my trusty sidekick. I'm not talking about Mr. LARAGAN, of course, who is the star of the show. My trusty sidekick, who is Watson, right? Who actually this photo was taken earlier on. So katabi ko siya lagi. So he's my he's I suppose he's my good luck charm, So when you see the table, suddenly move, parang nababangga, siyang gumawa, So at the moment tulog nga siya. And if you hear sudden noise, siya na naman. Anyway, so from me, and of course our lovely and brilliant direct Paula, and my somewhat can be annoying sidekick Watson, from all of us to all of you, good night po and happy Thursday uli. And I don't think it would be improper for me to say Happy New Year uli, The whole of January, I'm going to say Happy New Year. And next week, handa nyo, New Year's resolution. Because I want to compare how you're getting on with how I'm getting on, which is very badly usually by New Year's resolution. But anyway, for tonight, good night po. And hopefully see you on Thursday. Happy Thursday ulit. See you po. Bye.